draft from that game, but we didn't actually see them play it. UOM on that other side, well, they're looking for their first victory, although stats alone, they looked the most gracious in defeat out of everyone else who did lose their first game. So excited to sort of see these two teams go at it. I feel ACU probably more mid-focused, UOM probably more bot-focused, and no one cares about top laners.
Yeah, top laners are a dime a dozen when it comes to impact. The best top laner is a jungler, is the general rule. If you want a good top laner, get a jungler or Zaranas.
Or Zarna. Yeah, or Zarnos. Exactly that, as we are going straight into our picks and bans here right now. A couple of those power picks being focused right now. Vladimir going to be taken away from Hamzy Boy, who had a outstanding performance with Vladimir in week number 1, actually. So a bit of a targeted ban, one that makes sense. Lux as well, a targeted ban from ACU, who I believe went for the Sona Lux spot lane as well. Yep. ACU... One of the reasons why I have sort of Sona and Lux as part of my current top tier meta pick, if you want to go by results and results alone, ACU I think had 3 of the 5 champions that was in that lineup. So UOM sort of focusing it. Malzahar was not one of them, but that still is a focused ban for Hamzy.
Yeah, and on the blue side bans, we have 2 very jungle centric bans. I'm assuming Taranzu is gonna play those really good engaged team junglers. They banned the Caitlyn away because Caitlyn is obviously a nuisance to deal with, and they'd rather not. As they first pick the Volibear, do you think that's going to be a Volibear top or a Volibear jungle?
Well, we've seen both already in this event, so can't say for sure. Last picks and bans, we made bold predictions on where people were going, and I think I got every single one of them wrong. Olaf going to be making a return as well. I believe Taranzu actually did take Olaf as well.
Yes.
In week number 1. Didn't quite get the victory on this champion. However, second time's a charm, perhaps. So both sides kind of going for comfort at this stage with these first picks.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good pick overall. Olaf is a very good jungler. He has very fast clear, very good invade potential, and pretty good skirmishing with other junglers. If it's going to be the Volibear jungle, it is a pretty good matchup for him. He's able to contest, lifesteal with his W through that. So it means that he's not at a threat of being, overwhelmed. Then Morgana gets picked up for UOM, a very, very safe pick, but also a very, very aggressive one if you're very good at those bindings. Those can be deadly, deadly. I think we saw last season, we had a final game. We saw a Morgana just decimate through the team. We're not doing Starving Senna.
Speaking of last season, Senna going to get herself locked in now. I'm not sure that it's going to be the Starving Senna. We'll see where this picks and bans goes. Again, we're not making bold predictions, but so far a lot of throwbacks, I feel like, to last season with these picks. You have, the Zornos old school last Volibear, the last chance to see the Volibear before the rework. Starving Senna makes an appearance. Throwback to Scott's Olaf, perhaps, over on that UOM side. And of course, the Morgana play that we saw in the finals out of, I believe it was Forward.
Yes,
who pulled
Forward,
it out.
That's right.
It was insane. Ezreal, though, will get locked in. Again, with the way how the 80 carries are going, Ezreal still one of the remaining premier ones. The other side is Ashe. That's going to be taken in response. I still am not sold on Ashe. And so far, the performances in this Intervarsity tournament hasn't really convinced me otherwise.
Yeah, I personally actually think, maybe not into this specific matchup, but one of the up-and-coming ADCs that has really started to show their head again is Lucian. Lucian has started to climb his way back up, whether that be because meta's shifting, champions getting nerfed, buffed, whatever. He's started to, get back into a position where he is viable to be picked. So I think that could have been a valid option, especially when you take into consideration Morgana. If that Morgana lands a binding, you can get some disgusting damage out with double shot passive. And secondly, you're pretty safe when you have Black Shield on you, so you can afford to go in and be a little aggressive. The Malphite and the Ornna gets banned out straight away from both teams.
Again, Malphite was taken by Curator, I'm pretty sure, last week, because I remember we saw the draft, but then we didn't see the game, and I was super disappointed by that. Ornn as well going to be taken off the board for Cotton Dude. Going back to the sort of Ashe situation right now, I actually compare Ashe to Misfortune at the start of the year, where in theory, yes, this champion is actually incredibly strong at the moment. Having that sort of shotgun engage with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is incredibly useful. It can be a safe lane if you're using your volley correctly. The issue I'm having is it just feels like no one is actually utilizing the Ashe with the correct type of team compositions. I feel Ashe needs additional damage elsewhere. You can't really be that sole late game damage threat. That's why I like the Olaf, actually. I think Olaf is someone who can capitalize on that shotgun Enchanted Crystal Arrow engage. You have the follow through with the Morgana. This is actually the correct type of team composition around of Ashe from what I've seen thus far. So I have a little bit more hope for Zanzuki and Roach at this stage. Again, this is a bot lane that I can expect to see carry. Karma gets locked in right now, and now we get to play who's the support and who's the mid laner.
We have seen Morgana supports previously. Morgana mid laners previously with pretty good success, as far as I remember. Karma, although a very versatile champion and does a lot of damage, I don't see it being a mid lane Karma. We've only really seen it be in the bot lane for the last sort of 3-4 patches. Victor gets picked up, and there's that Renekton again, so we might be looking at a, like we thought we were, the Volibear in the jungle. So it'll be curious to see what the last pick will be, the top laner for UOM. I wonder what they're going to pick. Something like a Wukong, a Kled.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing a Rise.
Rise again, get the AP damage through.
Yeah.
Is very much a viable option. Or they could go for a straight tank.
No. You fool! You've done it again. Okay, so fun fact, was caught off screen. Sam the Simp last time did run that Nunu mid. This time, looks like it's going top lane instead. I guess it's the signature UOM champion. No, it is going mid. Okay. Well, look. Second time's the charm.
Why'd you do this to us? Like, you had every chance not to, and you did. All
right, so you are brought into this studio because of your in-game analysis, your ability to break down matchups, tell me the advantages in every sort of situation, counterpicking Victor with a Nunu. Break it down.
Someone wanted to play Nunu for the second time to make sure that they either solidify that it's not a valid option or to make people contest like, hey, didn't do as bad as we thought.
I would rather see an Omnistone Bard again than this Nunu in mid lane, but it is what it is. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be exciting nonetheless, because if this Nunu mid can pull it off and be successful, I don't really see how, but I'm here to learn. So I am not giving up faith on UOM. I want to see Nunu realize his dreams. That boy is going to find his parents, or whatever the lore is these days, as it's always changing. And then we're going to have our happy Disney ending. Meanwhile, on the ACU side, it should be worth noting that their jungle and mid laner, neither of them had died left. They're each on comfort champions. I can see this trend continuing.
Yeah, I can definitely see these trends continuing as they both try to take advantage of what they can. I believe we have some highlights that we can jump to real quick, so you can get a look at what what these people can be.
Exactly. I need to compose myself for what we're about to see, so we're going to throw it to a quick highlight break, and when we come back, we'll be on the Rift. Eye to eye and whispered sweet Camille's into each other's ears as if we were in sync in that moment, as Janet now is going to try to get the gank themselves. Stun even through the flash means that's a bad time to be named Toppy. He will go down. First blood secured by QUT. Of it does mean that Arcadian will be safe at the present moment. No mana, still sticking around, and that means Miniman's going to flash forward. Ignite is dropped. Going to go for the passive, and it secures the kill. Miniman, yeah, teleport coming through, and that's a very, very aggressive Flitch who tries to get into the pit, but the dragon has already been secured. It might not matter as Troll in the palm is slicing and dicing his way through the Griffith University side. At the moment, we're still sitting at a 1-for-none advantage in favor of QUT. Miniman's not going to be able to escape as well, so
now it's in their favor, so they're going to catch up on the ball.
That's the death bush you don't want to walk into, and I feel as if the tempo has well and truly shifted because it is QUT walking into the Griffith death bushes. Ocean Drake being slowly whittled away. It's a 5v4 in favor of the blue side, and you can see the zoning coming out of Braza on this Lux. Still Janet tries to go for the steal, is unable to find it, and the collateral damage helps secure the kill this time in the pit, but doesn't really want to fight it just yet. They're going to try the dragon out. Teleport coming through. Tron the Pawn actually has the flank right now on Griffith University. The return teleport a little bit late. Here comes the angry alligator, and Janet goes in for the kill. Has forced the gold golden, and Tron the Pawn on his own showstopper does so much damage to the backline at QUT as Miniman is able to fall through straight through the center. Griffith University wins a massive fight. They're going to get the dragon as well. Great turn of events for the blue side. Accentuate their strength in terms of the map play, as Ocean Dragon has been woken up and is going to leave his little hidey cave, I suppose. If it is secured by Griffith, that will be a very critical Ocean Soul. QUT trying to find a way to steal this one away, but here comes the likes of Spitz trying to find his way into the back line. Speaking of the back line, look who is there. It's Tommy. He's going to drop the showstopper and separate the side of QUT. This is a scattered side. The shockwave, even though it hits 3, does not do much to quell the desires of Griffith and their desire for victory. On top of that, Tron the Pawn flashing over the wall, fall through by Miniman, should be able to get the kill with a tap zap and a tap tap. Drop the arrow. You got to shoot the arrow. The enchanted crystal arrow has to come out now, but it's not going to. Finally, it makes its way into the pit, but it's too little, too late. An assassination on the backhand, courtesy of Tommy, because who else could it be? Means QUT is running from a Baron empowered Griffith University. That shield at the last possible second keeps Tommy alive, and Tron the Palm is probably smashing his keyboard in rage.
And minions are just going to lay waste to the tower.
That was the double root. Crescendo connects, and down goes Janet on the up end. You see the showstopper just zoning the rest of QUT out. Griffith, they don't want towers, they want kills. QUT forced back into their fountain as the second Nexus tower does fall. Nexus not long after another 3-man shockwave is not enough. Griffith University wins the Battle of Queensland. Oh, so it's back to us, unfortunately, and not onto the Rift just yet, but we are moments away from getting into ACU versus UOM. Again, a little treat from what we saw before. Griffith University, that's how they won their first game. Now sitting 2-0, they could be one of the favorites in this tournament moving forward. But more importantly, we are in our battle between ACU and UOM. Sam the Simp, Nunu mid lane, Dark Harvest Nunu mid lane. I want to see some big stacks, big numbers.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those picks that it is viable. Here's the thing. It is a viable pick. We have seen Nunu mid picked before in very specific circumstances. I don't necessarily think this is one of them. However, you know, we'll see how he goes. They might have something in mind with jungle, you know, jungle mid lane synergy that might make it a lot easier for him. He has a very, very easy sustain lane, and it looks like they've actually gone for a lane swap on the side of ACU, as Curator is actually in the mid lane with the Renekton, and they've sent Hamazi Boy up top to farm against the Karma, who was very little threat to him.
Yeah, and this is actually pretty good because Curator actually would do quite well into Sam the Simp, who is already taking some tower shots courtesy of that snowball gone awry. This is a UOM, I think, is a very unorthodox team, and I like how ACU is already adapting against them right now. Now, ACU, again, this is one of the teams that comes in with a very well-established coaching staff, so I am expecting discipline from this team. I'm expecting them to sort of perform against, I suppose, this unknown. And I also want to say this. This Sam Lock-in, the Nunu pick, isn't necessarily a complete surprise. He has played this champion before in this tournament. We even have it written down on our notes in front of us. It said right here, Nunu mid, question mark, question mark, question mark, Sam, exclamation mark. All right? This was in our pregame notes. So we knew something like this could be coming. I just didn't want to believe it, I suppose.
Well, I think it comes down to the fact that we saw it played last week. And I believe the scoreline was something along the lines of 1-6. So usually, you know, when something like that happens, you try something new. Because if it ain't broke, why fix it? Unfortunately, that was very, very, very broken and definitely needed some fixing. Apparently the fix is Dark Harvest.
Perhaps that is the case. I mean, at the moment, Sam the Simp does kind of have the CS advantage, and now is actually looking to invade into the jungle. And this is the purpose of this Nunu jungle, I believe. To invade, to harass, maybe steal some buffs with the mobility out of the snowball. It looked like it caught ACU off guard. I did notice those question mark pings following the snowball, so trying to figure out what exactly is the purpose of this Nunu right now. All what Sam seems to be doing is just rolling snowballs just constantly down the middle of Summoner's Rift.
Well, that's the strength of Nunu in this situation. He has very little to worry about in terms of sustain. He gets low, chomp a minion, he's got 1,000 more HP. So he doesn't really have to worry about that. So what he can do is snowball into mid lane to shove lane really, really quickly. Not like that, but, you know, it works. If he does the explosion on the minions, or can hit the enemy champion to, you know, to make it explode, he can shove lane in and then walk anywhere he wants. He has full control. It is a champion that is very, very, very hard to get priority over.
Yeah, but however, Renekton is one of those champions that could do that. You have that armor shred or tank shred in this regards. If any instance where Sam wants to kind of go toe for toe with this Renekton, I feel like it's going to be a bad time. Both junglers making their way to mid lane right now, actually, or at least the area around it. We could be seeing a 2v2 as Sam the Simp is jumped upon. Wait for that stun. It's actually not going to be there before the root, and that might force Curator away as well as Terran Shu, I should say, is both in the lane. Here comes the snowball after the Curator. He does get hit before being able to slice over the wall, and first blood goes to UOM, courtesy of the snowball from Sam. Atreyu now trying to run away, does get out of that alive.
So this is what we said pre-game, was that
Lane, here comes the
obviously if they're
snowball
picking it again, they have something in mind. So that we said the jungle mid combination. And I think that's a perfect example of it. The snowball does a lot of damage and locks people up for quite some time. Someone like Olaf can seriously capitalize on that and take advantage of the CC time and the damage to try and delete someone, as we see with Curator getting melted by that combination. Really, really good from UOM, turning what we thought to be a troll pick into a very, very solid one.
I'm still not convinced we're completely out of, you know, the troll capital, as a bit of action's happening down below right now. Terran already roaming down to that bot lane, going to try and get some poke, but the escapability out of Teagan as well as Eden Sign, I believe is how it's pronounced. Just enough to get out of that. A flash was burned, however, out of Teagan, and that should mean this initial Ocean Drake will be UOM's priority.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a priority. Getting that Drake is going to be incredibly important. Both teams would realistically like it and could benefit from it, but I think that's going to be super beneficial for them in particular, as we look like we might have Stu going to jump.
Oh, yeah, but here comes the snowball to buy the spacing, and the ultimate, that blizzard doesn't quite do enough damage to turn the fight around. It does get UOM out safely. No summoners burned.
Yeah, it gets him out there, and that's the strength of that Blizzard from Nunu, is it gives the threat of massive damage unless you do something about it, whether you stun him or leave. So he does have that zone control. Really good to get Taranzu out as he got caught out, and that's what you was talking about when we said, you know, that Nunu is a hard champion to get priority over. Well, so is Renekton. Renekton is a champion who has a lot of mobility, a lot of lockdown, and a lot of damage. So if he wants to, like that, catch you out, he can do an absurd amount of damage in a very short amount of time. If he has backup, it's pretty much a free kill.
Flash engage out of Roach. They're going to try and get the kill onto Teagan, who will fall. That is Zenzuki finding their first kill of this game, and UOM has a 2K 2-kill lead.
Yeah, unfortunately, Teagan there got hit by that max range binding from Roach, and Enzyme on Senna wasn't able to keep him alive. He put the E up, tried to, you know, cover where he might have been. Unfortunately, wasn't enough, as UOM is going to pick up the first Ocean Drake of the match as we go to an Earth Drake next.
Yep. So, got to mix up the order a little bit. Ocean, Earth, Infernal will be the order this time around, as Sam the Simp continues to do what Sam does best, which is put that pressure in the mid lane on the Nunu. I am sold on this pick right now. I admit it. I was a doubter for the first 8 minutes of this game, but seeing UOM and how they're playing around this Nunu and how Sam is actually utilizing it, I think there is potential. Now, again, last game, I believe he was able to get punished for it, but the big reason why we're not seeing this punishment come through, at least in this matchup, take a look at the bot lane and how that's been going. At the moment, Zunzuki has been absolutely taking it to Tegan and Eden. Similarly, in the top lane as well, Cotton Dude has a considerable lead over Hamzy Boy. It's just been a case of those side lanes have been able to absorb a lot of the pressure that could have been put on Sam for Sam's aggressive play. And as a result, UOM, they kind of have complete control over the entirety of Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, I do want to say, though, as a counterpoint to that, ACU has made a very solid pick now that they've decided to switch Victor back into the mid lane, because the strength of Nunu, like we were saying, was shoving that lane in super quickly and roaming. Well, Victor can do the same as well. He's got his upgraded Hex Core, he's got his upgraded E, he can shred a minion wave with one ability, so he doesn't give you an opportunity to roam without potentially losing tower or losing out on a massive amount of gold.
Bit of a roam happening down bot right now as Sam making his way. Enchanted Crystal Arrow connects into the Dark Binding and into the Snowball. Sam the Simp running over his opponents. 3 kills now for UOM.
Yeah, and that's another, another kill participate. Oh, top lane.
Yeah, teleport coming up top, and at the right time as well. Cotton Dude's already lost a Churyu, and now might fall themselves. A double kill going over to the Curator. ACU does strike back.
Good flash from Curator there to dodge the enhanced Q from Karma there, avoided the damage, so really, really good flash, got the kill, very nice TP to help your teammate out, as he's just going to roam back mid, and, he hasn't been able to shove the lane in, so he's going to catch that entire wave of minions. That's a really, really good play for ACU there.
I'm going to get myself hooked on Phonics right now, okay? Atayu? Atayu. Okay, thank you very much. Apologies for pronouncing that name terribly wrong for the first 10 minutes of this game.
Or Atayo, depending. I think it's a Tayo.
There's no R. Atayo.
There we go.
It's going to be Atayo.
It's one of the two.
Okay, I'm no longer hooked on the Phonics. We are now going to be moving forward in this game. As we are still looking at a UOM lead, I have to admit, wasn't necessarily expecting this coming into this matchup. However, going back to a previous point I made, UOM, in their defeat, did look very, very strong. They look strongest in the bot lane. Their bot lane right now seems to be working incredibly well with their mid lane, and they seem to be what's carrying this team.
I'm starting to develop a theory in this bot lane. What item is the same now that was in the last losing team? Just look.
Oh, the Cull?
Bingo. I think Cull is actually a cursed item in this patch, and that is what's causing the loss, is that the second the Cull was picked up, they got ganked bot lane and died. He had 2 stacks on it when he died for the first time. That's all I'm saying. Call me a conspiracy theorist, but I think Cull is a cursed item.
I just believe that Starving Senna isn't being executed correctly, as more action happening in the mid lane. Gravity Well nowhere near the point of attack. That said, Hamzy Boy still trying to get away. You can see damage being thrown back onto the Ragnaroked Terran, who gets out above in the top jungle. No one goes down on screen. Down below, however, with Tegan left by their own, it's actually Eden who did fall, so UOM picks up yet another.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate situation for them. Enzyme uses the ultimate to save the Victor in the mid lane, and immediately gets jumped on by UOM's bot lane because they have that ability to. They have nothing to worry about from center in the sense of she can't ulti to shield, to damage, whatever. Ooh, never mind. I thought Cotton Dude might have tried something a little bit of damage going down. Tower is about to get smocked by Grump, who also falls. Cotton Dude is playing a very aggressive Karma right now against Curator.
Well, this could be why.
Yeah,
I mean,
no
when you
wonder
have backup on the way, it's a very good reason. And those snowballs are just absolutely obliterating minion waves at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, down below, I think ACU is sick of Zunzuki and the ability this bot lane has had to kind of control the tempo of this game. Shushta Barrage does connect. There is an Ignite down as well, I believe, but no, it's not enough to secure the kill. There was no Ignite. It was just burning passive red buff damage. Either way, that is a Ashe that escapes on a sliver of health. UOM getting away with murder quite literally at times.
Yeah, that's really, really unfortunate for ACU there. They invested a lot into that kill. They invested teleports, they invested ultimates, they invested time into getting that Zunzuki shutdown. And he uses flash and heal, sure, but he gets away. And they almost got a trade back kill if there was more people there. And ACU doesn't even get dragon control. So UOM gets the dragon doesn't die, there's nothing that happened there that was beneficial for ACU, realistically.
Well, they're going to try and turn it into a benefit by putting pressure on this mid lane. Also should be worth noting that the endangered species known as the Cloud Drake actually will be making an appearance for the first time on the Intervarsity mainstream. It only took 6 games, and, you know, realistically, I suppose that'd be 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 14. So the 15th dragon type that we have seen will be the Cloud Drake. I still don't believe it.
You know, it's one of those situations where...
It's one of those situations where Sam's about to get jumped upon by pretty much everyone from ACU right now. No mana, yet Sam is still able to walk out alive. It looked bad on the minimap.
Yeah, but that's the strength of Nunu mid, is that he turns bad situations into great ones because... Yeah, because Nunu. So... Go
True.
big analyst brain.
Yeah, just because Nunu.
UOM, their team right now is quite ahead, let's be honest. You know, Ash, you know, this is the first time Ash has actually been successful in this tournament. Ash has, I believe, been quite a weak lane when she's been picked. This is what a dominating Ash looks like because, like you said, the team is, you know, working with her.
Yeah.
The strength of Ash isn't running into people. It's her sitting on the back line when people are trying to run into her, like you have with the, you know, the Renekton, with the Victor, with the Volibear, throwing your W out and then kiting on the back line. They can't get to you. The moment they realize we've made a mistake, they try to hightail it out of there. They can't run away. You're Ash. You either stun them, you W them, you auto them, and they are trapped. And that's the strength of Ash. It's not this single one-on-one duel. If you wanted a one-on-one duel, you'd play Kai'Sa, you'd play Vayne, you'd play someone like that, a Draven. You're not playing Ash for that reason. You're playing over the safe end-game, mid-game insurance that she provides.
You're also playing for that go button known as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. And speaking of go buttons, there's a big one rolling towards the Curator right now. Minions do get in the way, and the snowball does run dry. The other thing I want to point out, too, which I think, again, drawing similarities almost to Season 1 or Semester 1, Ashe is the new Misfortune, where this is a strong champion in theory, but not everyone has been able to figure out how to play it most effectively yet. UOM, they're getting their Ashe certificate. They're certified we can play Ashe certificate. And that is something that Zenzuki should take home, hang it on the wall, and say, you know what? I can play this top tier meta champion that everyone else is struggling with, and this is going to give our team a huge advantage moving forward.
Yeah, it's definitely going to give a huge advantage because, you know, as much as you said earlier that you're still skeptical on Ashe, as in the recent patch, like she maybe hasn't performed as well as you would have thought, she is statistically one of the highest win rate ADCs right now, sitting on a 52% win rate.
Enchanted Crystal Arrow will connect, and the follow-through damage all the way back on Eden is enough to take him down. Sam the Simp in the front line, but it's the slicing and the dicing from the teleport from Curator that returns the favor for ACU. UOM on the run, trying to escape. It looks like they'll get out alive, but very badly bruised and beaten.
Yeah, very badly bruised. Only a 1-for-1. But ACU coming out on a dominant position here, cracking the tower.
Oh, the flash binding hits from max range. The follow-through axe will help Cotton Dude secure the kill. Handsy Boy running at max speed away from the chaos. UOM strike one back.
So here's what happened there that was really unfortunate. Roach was in range with his Q before he flashed of Tegan. He then flashes. Tegan also flashes. They're still in range. So
it was an arcane shift. It wasn't as bad as a flash.
Yes. It was an arcane no, there was flash.
Tegan's flash is up.
No, not Tegan, sorry.
Oh,
but oh no, sorry. Yeah, you are right. Hamazi did use flash there out of the I think the sheer fear factor that he's getting caught in the chronostasis of a Morgana binding. I think he wanted to go home tonight without aging, 53 years.
Either way, like, that was an amazing binding from Roach, obviously. Very unfortunate for Tegan. I believe that Tegan flashes, actually. Tegan doesn't get hit by that binding. Arcane Shift has that little bit of, like, hitbox still remaining, and it can follow through like that. So very unfortunate for Tegan in that situation. Snowball again, looking to go straight for Tegan. Actually gets the double knock-up. The follow-through is there immediately from Sunzuki. That's going to be 2 more kills for UOM. The Wombos out of this Melbourne University are just too much for ACU to handle.
And they're just going to run down and grab this Cloud Drake, putting them 1 away from Cloud Soul for the first time in this tournament.
And you know what's great for UOM? Cloud Soul and Cloud Drakes, because that means they can do these wombos and these initiating go buttons at an even greater frequency. As you can see, that's going to be taken uncontested at the moment for UOM, making this wombo combo work right now. This is a very scary situation for ACU.
Yeah, and this is a very, you know, pretty much the reverse of what happened last week for UOM. They have played incredibly well today. In every lane, has successfully, you know, won their lane. Whereas last week, you know, they didn't really get that much. You know, like we said, they lost graciously, sure, but they still lost. Whereas here, they're in a much better position.
But the big components for their loss before was from Terran and from Sam. They each had struggling performances. It was not from Sunzuki, who you can see just has the damage to get kill after kill right now. Unfortunately, that Enchanted Crystal Arrow not quite available yet to follow it through, but still another tower will fall for this red side. Actually, I believe that's their first of the game. So now we're starting to see bricks fall. We're starting to see this lead grow. Sunzuki and Roach making a very, very convincing argument that this might be the premier bot lane in this tournament.
Yeah, they're definitely showing up today, which is, you know, we said they didn't play well off stream. Both teams sort of, you know, were off stream. They didn't really necessarily. ACU did incredibly well, and they're the fastest.
Point blank dark binding on the Curator. Enchanted Crystal Arrow fall through. Same with the axe flashing over the wall. They really want to skin that alligator, and now poor Itayu is going to try to get away, has to burn the ultimate. Ragnarok was used as well, but no follow through from UOM. Another pick for this red side.
Yeah, and they're just probably going to head straight to Baron. The strugglers of a caster trying to explain, and then action, you know, lights, camera, action in the mid lane, as they're just going to grab that blue buff, make their way onto Baron, and probably try and shove in that top to mid and try get some advantages.
It's what happens, unfortunately, when you have a proactive pick composition that is executing each and every time they go for that play. True Shot Barrage, a little premature, won't steal the Baron from UOM, who get that big purple worm. A 21-minute Baron, actually. This is a very early Baron. Only 2 towers have gone down. I expect that number to change.
Yeah, and there's a fight in the middle lane there for a moment, as this is where we're starting to see the strength of that Nunu. That mass movement speed Snowball is able to catch people out ridiculously well. And the other advantage, which is slightly more of a, you know, hidden advantage, which, you know, might make sense to why they have 3 Drakes and a Baron now, is effectively Nunu's Chomp is is an additional smite. So in reality, UOM is going to have a very easy time getting those objectives because they can double smite, essentially. Whereas ACU only has the 1, and poor Curator is about to feel the wrath of a snowball.
No flash available for this Renekton. No way to outrun the beast as they jump upon him. Ultimates being thrown, Ragnarok as well as Nunu's, but Atayu is going to try to find something back. The damage not quite there, especially with Sunzuki arriving to the scene. A double kill goes to Terran, and now they're going to double back, make sure to take care of this Rift Herald before any serious damage is done to their towers. UOM can do no wrong except for give up, you know, their mid lane tower.
You know, in that situation, the beneficial play would have actually been for Curator to stay pushed up in lane and to shove that minion wave, because they effectively wasted Herald there, because Herald wasn't able to get through the minion wave to get a smash off onto the tier 1 bot tower, whereas if they knew he was going to die, they should have just, you know, sliced and diced and get out.
Oh, the snowball up top, it hits minion. A little bit short, but they're still going to go for the fight. Teleport actually coming through, so that should be Curator looking to help out Hamzy, and Sam the Simp wants no part of this, will escape into the safety of the jungle.
However, even though that sort of became a nothing play, you know, the snowball didn't land, whatever, that's a teleport out of Curator when, you know, this is a very crucial part of the game, and now they're down a TP for effectively nothing. There was no play there. That they didn't really get an advantage for the TP. So unfortunately, that means the next dragon fight or whatever is just going to be behind.
They actually lost advantages off of that teleport because of the Baron-empowered minions that UOM were bringing down both mid and bot lane. You can see they've just been able to shove in both of those lanes now to have complete control of the bot half of the map just in time for that next dragon to spawn. It will be the Cloud Dragon Soul. UOM playing the map exceptionally well, forcing ACU to make poor decisions, and as a result, they are going to get themselves a pre-25-minute Dragon Soul.
Yes, but speaking of, monumental achievements, Tegan's just about to finish that cull at 24 minutes. He just finished it. Speaking of itemization, I joke about the cull, but an interesting point to make about his itemization is that every other Ezreal we've seen in this tournament has opted for the Mana Moon into Trinity Force combination because, obviously the Trinity Force adds a lot of damage and utility. Whereas Ezreal on Tegan has had to, or Tegan on Ezreal, has had to opt for the Iceborne Gauntlet because he can't afford to, get jumped on. He's trying to create some sort of a zoning field to create a barrier between him and the enemy. So it's the only option he really has. Oh, no.
The snipe connects onto Curator. The Gravity Well will keep him in place. Terran gets another one, and look how fast this Ragnarok Olaf is running. Not going to find any more, but does give us the thumbs up to let us know, hey, he's doing okay with that pick right there. A pre-25-minute Cloud Soul, a 9K advantage for UOM. This has turned from almost a meme of a draft to one of the most dominating performances we have seen on stream yet this tournament.
Yeah, and if you want to see how confident UOM is in their performance, Karma has built a Magi Soul Stealer on top lane Karma because of how successful this game is going for them. If that doesn't shout confidence, I don't know what does.
The only issue I have with that is top lane, and as a result, only 2 kills for the team's 14, so one of the lowest kill participations in the game for the champion with the Soul Stealer. Not necessarily ideal, not probably getting your most bang for your buck in that situation, but hey, it is a statement, and a statement nonetheless as UOM continues to down tower after tower. Once again, they're going to be knocking at this ACU base, this time using the front door as opposed to the side. And Terran may have stepped too far. Black Shield will keep them safe. The return binding not going to connect, and UOM should back off.
Yeah, and the main threat for ACU right now is we mentioned that go button of the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Well, on top of that, Morgana has built a Shirelias. So if they really want to, Shirelias can just be popped as that Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes, and they can run right at you. Doesn't matter how far that arrow was. If it was, half a lane, whatever, they can run to you, lock you down, take you out if you step up even slightly. Nunu's ulti's just coming up. Karma's ulti, is on like a 2-second cooldown. Meanwhile, Curator's TP is still waiting to come back up from that top fight. So Baron is spawning in 33 seconds, so there's a really solid chance if they can force him into another lane that they can remove him from this fight completely.
Be curious to see how the next team fight will go. I feel like good chance what you said may come true, especially considering the lead UOM has accrued for themselves at this stage. Taking a look at the vision right now, ACU, they just don't see anything realistically. They've got a couple peaks in their own jungle, but not enough that they can willingly step in and actually contest the vision around this Baron, which is on the horizon. Snowballs just being pelted at them from Sam as Terran kind of acting as bodyguard for his big fluffy friend. And Atayu actually kind of sick of this, looking to charge and force Terran out of lane. ACU, they're moving as a group, especially with Cotton Dude down below. Teleport available, teleport being used. This could be that big fight as Sam leads the charge. Here we go. At the moment, it's looking good for UOM. True Shot Barrage goes straight down the middle. Not enough damage from it, but Zamziki is down. Curator was able to find the Ashe on the top end of the fight, and now UOM is running for the hills. Roach caught in a rough situation, yet the team is able to kind of wrap themselves back around. A double kill, in fact, for Terran as they find both the mid laner and the jungler. Curator still trying to keep ACU in this. Does a lot of damage to Sam the Ship, who gets that Black Shield to keep alive. Tegan gets caught down below. The Dark Binding helps secure that kill. Curator, the last one left standing. That's going to be a Baron. That should be more. UOM may have just completely taken over this game.
Yeah, UOM there might just run away with this. There's minions shoving in everywhere. If they can get this Baron and 1-3-1 or something along those lines, they could decimate the ACU base right now. something that was incredibly, almost dangerous and is going to lead to their demise. ACU, I'm not sure if it was tilt or what it was.
Teleport.
Ooh, teleport coming in.
Oh, this is a bold play coming from Curator, trying to steal the Baron. Instead gets jumped upon. He's able to find Roach, just as Hamzy Boy is able to teleport into the fight. Sam's just going to go ahead and actually lose the Baron aggro at this stage. So Baron has reset, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow does connect on poor Eden, who is having a very rough day. UOM just continuing to get pick after pick right now as ACU desperate to keep Baron alive. Cotton Dude trying to lead the charge to find a Tayu. Won't be able to find them this time, but Baron will get restarted.
I think they really want to kill a Tayo before they commit to the Baron, seeing as he is the smite of the enemy team.
They found him.
Yeah, they found him.
He was hiding in the corner.
They wanted to make sure that there is no 50-50 opportunity here for ACU to get back in, because the threat that poses is that ACU might be able to turtle for
True Shot Barrage, perhaps.
Ooh, True Shot.
That means it's going to be available for Tegan. Curious to see when he'll pull the trigger on this one. Baron already at half. This would be the steal to end all steals, and it's not coming. Oh, no, it is.
It is coming.
Oh, this actually could be close. Ooh. Oh, that was very close. Terran able to smite that Baron away at the last possible moment.
See, that's the threat. I mentioned earlier the advantages. The disadvantages of having a Nunu mid, that if you're not coordinating with your jungler, you chomp before they smite and leave something incredibly low. True Shot Barrage can always come through and steal that, and they are very lucky there that they were coordinated enough to do that, because that was a dangerous, you know, credit where credit's due. It was a very good True Shot Barrage. Timing was immaculate, if anything.
It was a good shot out of Tegan. Yeah, I mean, there was a blind. That was a blind steal attempt, and that was very close. But you got to be better than close sometimes. You actually need to connect, and I feel like with that Baron falling, ACU may have run out of options in this one. Elder Dragon's about to spawn in another 2 seconds. The entire area is controlled by this UOM side, as I do believe they should be able to take it and then end the game. ACU, this will be their last-ditch effort, and they may have been caught out before they can set up a proper offense. The front line from UOM goes crashing straight through, actually gets onto Eden, but that's not necessarily the target they want. Curator attempted the flank, was found out by Roach. Down goes the Volley Bear next, and it is just one at a time. ACU falling again and again. No more go buttons, though, available. All the ultimates have been used by UOM, but it might not matter as the snowball keeps rolling and rolling. Eden goes down, and UOM get 3.
And they're going to grab Elder Drake here. I love the healing out of Nunu. It surprises me every time. You see him on, like, 1 HP.
Cotton's not allowed. He's not part of the cool kids club.
A little bit of fun there, I think they're having. Something I'd like to note is you stated earlier, the you know, the 2-kill participation karma getting the Soul Stealer has in fact managed to fully stack that, and along with that, Sam the Simp is only 5 stacks away from maxing out his Medjai Soul Stealer. That is 45 stacks of Medjais on the side of UOM. That is a scary, scary team right now.
That's a lot of stacks. That's some stacks on top of stacks. I'm curious, actually, how many Dark Harvest stacks does Sam have? I would like to see that, if at all possible, if there's a way we can get that up, because that is an important number that we need to figure out as we approach the end of this game, nearing actually the 35-minute mark. So much longer than ACU's last game, which only went for 23. However, UOM accustomed to this, as we are seeing another fight. Sam gets another kill. Look how fast that Olaf goes. The first Enchanted Crystal Arrow will miss it. There was no one even near that shot. Still, Snowball goes straight into the tower. Can't damage towers. Can swallow Eden alive, though, as another kill goes to Sam. Again, more of ACU space just being thrown around in shambles as UOM looking to make that final push. Curator, Hamzy, Tegan, the final 3 left standing. Sam steps forward, tries to go munch, but it's actually Terran who gets that kill. Tegan arcane shifts and flashes his way to the safety of the shower. True Shot Barrage does not do nearly enough damage. This game is done and dusted. UOM pull off one of the most unlikely victories with one of the most unlikely mid laners. I was a doubter before, now I'm a fan. UOM get one back, or do they? Still a little bit of shenanigans to happen. The snowball's going into fountains, but ACU cannot contest. Nexus falls, UOM victory.
They cannot contest a 18,000 gold